Today I've got a behind the scenes, or I should say behind the business, a video for you. It's one I promised a little while ago. It feels like everybody wants to start a business these days, particularly an online business. As someone who has been around the block for a long time, today I'm going to be talking about my own online businesses. I'm going to be sharing the different income streams that I have and the breakdown of how much I make from each income stream. And I'm going to break down how that divides up and how much of my income I make from different avenues. And I'm sharing this because a lot of people are curious as to how people make money when they have online businesses. Where does their income come from? And how might you do the same if starting an online business is something that you are curious about? So I first started making money online in the early 2000s, believe it or not. I actually got an online job with a company where I was editing PhD theses and things like that because I had a qualification in editing and proofreading. And I'd actually been interested in how to make money from the internet since the late 90s when I first got online as a teenager. So ever since then, I kind of had an idea in my mind that maybe one day I could figure this out, but it seemed so hard to do and it just wasn't something people were doing, like normal everyday people. Sure, there were like big .com companies, but just the normal person, how are you going to make money online? I think the first thing I ever did apart from that job was selling like art on Cafe Press, which was a print on demand company back in I think they started in the 90s, possibly the early 2000s. And I actually made a little bit of money from that, but I'm not actually an artist really. I just kind of threw some stuff together in graphic design programs, which hilariously now, like 20 years later, is what everybody seems to be doing to try to make money online. So, it's been around for a very long time. And I tried various other little bits and bobs over the years and maybe made a few dollars here and there, but nothing really seriously. It wasn't actually until I started my handmade business, Ethereal, back in 2008 as a hobby and started selling on Etsy that I actually started making a decent amount of money. Now at the time I had a normal full-time job. I was just running Ethereal as a hobby business on the side. And while it was making me a nice little bit of profit, I didn't still really twig to the idea of going full time with it. But I ended up doing that in 2010, kind of accidentally. If you're curious as to why that happened, I have a video, I'll link to it here on how I kind of accidentally became a full-time entrepreneur. But basically I went full time with that and it grew and grew. Now I'd been blogging for a long time at this point. I'd had numerous blogs over the years, going way back to the old LiveJournal days, again from the early 2000s. And I was always kind of sharing what I was doing. So I was sharing, what I was learning about starting an Etsy shop and growing an online business, a handmade business. And I started to, get people reading my stuff and asking me questions. And so then I was like, why don't I make an ebook? Now, ebooks were kind of becoming a thing back then, but you couldn't sell them on Amazon or whatever. You just had to work out how to sell it on your own website using PayPal. So I made my first ebook and started selling that, and then I made another one. And so over time I was just starting to make these digital products as well and making a profit off of those. And I started to realize the potential for this, because obviously you make a product once and then you sell it over and over again, versus my handmade business where I have to physically make every single product when I want to sell it. Now at this time, I also started a print magazine, a zine called Bespoke, that I kind of did as a passion project. There was a kind of a big scene of those sorts of things happening at the time, and there wasn't really one in Australia that did what I wanted it to do, so I decided to create one. And that was a huge learning curve. I had to learn how to get a magazine designed and printed and get advertisers in there to make it profitable and all that sort of stuff. So that was a fun project I did for a couple of years. Never really made a lot of money out of it. I kind of broke even with that, but it was really fun and I made a lot of wonderful connections through doing that. But I did decide to give it up at the end of 2012 because a better opportunity came along. I actually had an idea for an e-course. Now, I'd run a small e-course by this point once or twice, and again, saw the potential for that and the profitability of that. And I was like, I want to do this properly. I want to start this course I have this idea for, but I don't have the time to run 3 businesses. So I decided to sell a magazine, which I did. And then I started my business Create and Thrive off the back of my course called Set Up Shop. Now, this is a course I still run to this day, and it's a 30-day intensive course where I teach people how to set up a stellar online shop for their handmade goods. And that was a game changer for me because it sold well. It made us a decent amount of money when we ran the course. So I run it twice a year. It's a live course. And from there, I sort of started to see other possibilities. The next step for me was starting a membership, which I did in 2015. It's called the Thriver Circle. Again, I still run it to this day. It's a membership community for makers, artisans, crafters, teaching you how to actually start a profitable and thriving handmade business. And this has definitely become my most profitable income stream over the years because it is a recurring revenue. You know, people are paying a monthly membership to be part of the community. And so I had, for the first time, dependable monthly income, which was a game changer for having your own business and being self-employed. Having that recurring monthly income is incredibly helpful because it allows you to, know that your bills are going to be paid on time, which is really nice. So having a membership is something I definitely recommend as an excellent business model. Sure, it's a lot of work, but so is any part of business, really. If you want to have a business that you're involved in, I mean, you could set up a membership that you weren't deeply involved in, but for me, I wanted to be involved in it and be the mentor and the teacher to my students and my community. And I still, to this day, really, really enjoy that. So over the years during this time, I've also done other things. I've done affiliate marketing. I have sold other courses and other ebooks. I've sold advertising on my blog, on my YouTube channel. Of course, I've started on YouTube in the last few years and I make revenue from YouTube ads now. And also in the last few years, my husband and I have been running an Airbnb because when we bought the house we currently live in, it actually has a granny flat, little standalone unit attached to it. We don't want to rent it out full time because we have family and friends who come to visit and we like to keep it available for them. So for us, it was kind of a no-brainer to put it up on Airbnb, and that way we have another income stream coming in to the family. Because my husband works for the business, we are completely self-employed. We don't have any other jobs or outside income coming in, apart from obviously things like share investments and stuff, but those, we don't actually take the money out of those. We reinvest all of our dividends from our shares. So that is kind of money that doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. It's just working on, growing a nest egg for retirement if retirement ever happens. Okay, so let's have a look at my breakdown over the last 2 years of how I've actually made my money. So I'm going to break this down in percentages. I'm not giving exact numbers. That's something I'm going to keep private, but I'm going to give you a breakdown in percentages of how much we make from each income stream. We're not making millions of dollars by any stretch of the imagination, but we're making enough to live comfortably and support ourselves. So here we go. Let's have a look. So my biggest earner is definitely the Thriver Circle, my membership. About 55% of our income comes from the Thriver Circle membership. The next one is our jewelry. So Ethereal is still selling ethereal jewelry. That's 22.2% of our income. Now, there could be more coming from this, but we actually made a conscious decision to keep our jewelry sales at a certain level because we want more free time and we're making enough money altogether to mean that we don't have to work, 6 days a week pumping out jewelry. So that is why this number is where it is in our income stream. My next one down is Set Up Shop and other e-courses, mostly Set Up Shop. That's 15.2% of our income. Next comes YouTube. So that's 4.3% of our current income is my YouTube revenue. And I did actually a whole video about how much money I make from YouTube. That video is up here if you're curious about how much I make from YouTube. So the next one is affiliate sales, which is 2.4%. And Airbnb is currently only 1% of our income over the last few years, but that's because of COVID. Thanks, COVID. Before COVID, we were making quite a bit more from our Airbnb. We had to shut it down for like 2 years over COVID. So that's only just reopened in the last few months, really. And so that percentage is going to rapidly increase again come this year. So looking towards the future, as I said, I expect the Airbnb revenue to increase. I expect my YouTube revenue and my affiliate revenue to all increase more over time because those are areas where there is potential for growth. I mean, there's potential for growth in all of these areas, but like the membership, the jewelry and setup shop, they've been pretty steady for quite a long time now. Whereas the other ones have been either decreasing or increasing depending on circumstances. You know, Airbnb decreased for a while, it's going to increase again. YouTube is definitely trending up over time. Affiliate sales are trending up over time because I have more things that I am an affiliate of. So all of those things are going to be bringing us money, probably more money in the future. So I'm curious, if you make a living online, what's your sort of breakdown? Or how do you make your money? What income streams do you make your money from? I'm a big fan of multiple income streams, you know, especially if you are 100% fully self-employed. It's really stressful to have all your eggs in one basket and be making all of your money from one place. I mean, like our jewelry business, we don't just make money from our Etsy shop. We have our own website. I sell a bit of wholesale sometimes. So even within that, we have some, you know, different income streams coming in. And, you know, my affiliate sales, I'm an affiliate of multiple different companies, so I'm getting, you know, that money from different places as well. I should mention that affiliate sales also includes like summits and things that I'm part of and sales of that. If you are thinking about starting some online businesses or, you know, making money online, I do recommend you try to think about how you can diversify your income and have it coming in from a couple of different places. And of course, if you can set up any sort of recurring revenue, that is the gold standard. That is the thing that makes life a lot easier because you do have that revenue that you can rely on. Now, if you are a maker like me, it is actually still possible to do this. I used to have what I call the Earring of the Month Club, where people would sign up for 3, 6 or 12 months and I would make a unique and exclusive pair of earrings for the club members every month. That was super fun. I did it for a year or two, I think, and that was my first taste of recurring revenue. Now, it was a little bit different because people kind of signed up for a chunk, generally speaking, like they bought a 3-month membership or a 6-month membership rather than paying month by month. But it was really great, and it was a great way to bring in more income that you wouldn't have had otherwise. So if you are a maker, is there any sort of thing like that, some sort of recurring revenue model that you could institute into your business? Like if you're a soap maker or you make any sort of cosmetics or any sort of consumable items, then you can definitely do this. You can set up some sort of, you know, membership or subscription service so that people get stuff regularly in the mail and they pay you automatically on a regular basis to get their top-ups. So think about that one if you haven't already. Hope you found this one interesting. Thanks so much for watching. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And like I said earlier, if you are interested in YouTube, I did do a video on, you know, how I make money from YouTube and how much I make from YouTube. So you can watch that one right here if you're interested. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.